Not too long ago, I made the comment in a radio interview that conservatism is both a myth and a delusion. When we return, I'm going to explain to you what I mean, and I beg you to think well upon it. Hello, I'm Jerry Johnson, and I welcome you to this edition of Against the World.
This episode of Against the World is brought to you by the Puritan Hard Drive, an incredible research tool filled with thousands of hard-to-find books, each one searchable by words or topics. For more information, visit our good friends on the web at puritandownloads.com.
So why do I call conservatism a myth and a delusion? And I really want to focus on the fact that I think it's a delusion more than anything. We actually believe that conservatism has gotten us somewhere. Well, let me share a few facts with you, and I challenge you, nay, I even dare you to refute them. In 1980, Ronald Reagan ran on the conservative platform of smaller government, lower spending, less taxes, and a pro-life agenda. From the time he was elected in 1980 to 2010, a 30-year period, we had somebody touting Reagan's view sitting in the White House for 20 out of the 30 years. That's 2/3 of the time of 30 years. In that 30-year period, 12 of those years, we had the same group of people claiming to be Reagan conservatives who believed in smaller government, less spending, lower taxes, and a pro-life agenda control both houses of Congress, the House of Representatives and the Senate. For 6 out of those years, from 2000 to 2006, not only did we have the presidency, not only did we have the House of Representatives and the Senate, I mean, we had a majority all the way around, we even have the majority on the Supreme Court. We had something the Democrats never had. And yet, with all of that, 20 years in the White House, 12 years in control of Congress, 6 years in control of all of it, did we make any advance on smaller government, lower taxes, less spending, and the pro-life agenda? In fact, what happened to the pro-life agenda? Conservatism never works. That's the conclusion I ultimately came to. Because conservatism draws a line in the sand and says, we're going to stand here. We're going to protect, we're going to conserve what we've got. And yet, we continually give ground. I mean, think about it. Since 1980, have we made any advancement on the conservative agenda? Any? Not only have we not gone forward, not only have we not stood our ground, but we've gone backwards. If you still believe in conservatism, I'm sorry, my friends, you're believing in a myth, and it's coming to the point of being a delusion. It doesn't exist. Contrary to what Rush Limbaugh says, contrary to what Sean Hannity says, it doesn't exist. It's not real. It's smoke and mirrors. It is an attempt, in my opinion, to get the Christian church to focus on something other than occupying till he returns, than discipling the nations with the gospel, than moving forward, conquering in the name of Christ. Conservatism does not help. It has become an idol in the Christian church. Now, I know these are harsh words, but I want you to so think upon it. Could you imagine if Ronald Reagan came back today? If he rose from the dead and he says, hey, what have y'all been doing since 1980? Well, sir, we've actually made no progress. Well, at least you've stood your ground, haven't you? Well, no, sir, we haven't stood our ground. We have more government. We have more spending. We have higher taxes. And by the way, sir, we abandoned pretty much the pro-life agenda. What do you think Reagan would say? More than that, what do you think Christ would say? You've done nothing. You've taken your talent and you buried it in the ground. Depart from me, you worker of iniquity. I want you to think well upon it, folks. This is not a scripted episode. We do not have a transcript. I'm trying to speak this kind of extemporaneously. This is something that has been burning up in me ever since the Republican Party nominated John McCain to be their presidential candidate. And then they gave us the cultist Mitt Romney. And we all fell in line like good little soldiers, and we cast our lot for him, not me, but most of us did. Because we believed that conservatism was going to save this country. Mark my words, only Christ can save this country. And he will only do it if he considers it good to do so. Until next week, this is Jerry Johnson standing contra mundum against the world.